Hello, hello. Just a quick note about the ongoing Iceland eruption. Well, I hear increasingly more voices saying it's coming down. It might be the swan song of the eruption, i.e., it's coming to an end now. Several Icelandic colleagues feel very strongly that this is the beginning of the end. We're seeing one of them has even speculated that the eruption might not last through the Easter break. So let's have a little look at the eruption as it is right now. So here we have the multi-view, and there is the main vent, the northerly vent. There's a little bit of activity at the one that's a tiny little bit further to the south. The gas emissions are not as strong, and also importantly, the heat emission from satellite imagery detected by satellite imagery is considerably lower now. So this seems to really calm down now. There was quite some discussion how the eruption is supplied, and the Svartsengi system has been swelling so strongly before the eruption, and then once the eruption started, it's not been swelling with the same amount anymore. And increasingly, there was speculation that the lava supply has actually come from a deeper reservoir, not so much from the shallow Svartsengi reservoir. And I can buy into that. So here is a more detailed view of the main northerly vent. There's a little bit of a glow every now and then you see at this small vent here. But that's kind of it. If we zoom in once more, then this is it. So, I mean, obviously, if you're standing there, it's still spectacular, and the lava here is still moving. So, but overall, this is very similar to the last few days and maybe the last week at Litli where things are coming to an end then. So the lava that is in the system, of course, it will boil up, but that may be the end of it. There was this report here that was published just yesterday in Iceland, and of course it's in Icelandic, but you can actually put in the translation function, and I've done that here. And here's the report in English, and I'll put that into the little text box there. And my colleague Tor is talking here, and he says exactly that. It's moving towards the end. The heat emissions are reduced, and you can read the details here, but it may take a few more days or maybe even a week or two, but it's the beginning of the end. And Arman, one of the other colleagues in Iceland, he says, yeah, Easter may be the final gasp of the eruption. But let's see. I mean, it's hard to predict exactly when it will stop. As here, Magnus Toomey also says, it's not entirely possible to say exactly when it will stop, but it will likely come to a close very soon. And if you read that article here, Thor speculates that because the eruption has been fed potentially from a deeper reservoir, this may actually mean that the Sundhnukur site is going to be exhausted. That's not to say that there can't be eruption elsewhere, but here it was driving a big event already since November, and this now may have exhausted this pathway. So, of course, there is an element of uncertainty. We can't be really sure. And here, Torvaldur says there is good news here. I believe that when it's over, the activity in Sundhnukur will end because the connection between the small reservoir and the Sundhnukur site is no longer the key connection, but a deeper connection. And the overpressure has now been released for quite some time. But in a few weeks, months, or in a year or so, pressure could build up and a new pathway could form. So I think he has a point. The probability of the eruption happening there is somewhat reduced, but as he says there, this is not to say that there can't be an eruption elsewhere. So beautiful scenery here, of course, with a glow at night, and we will see how it continues. But there's, of course, other places here that can be discussed, and we'll see how this continues. And we will see whether the eruptions will now find a new pathway. I believe the eruptions will continue, but maybe not in that site. And maybe a lucky aspect could be that eruptions could move away from Grindavik again, because the Fagradalsfjall to the Sundhnukur change could now kind of cause another change. and that might mean that Grindavik may be off the hook, at least in terms of direct lava influx. So let's see about that. Thank you very much, and all the very best.